What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Sniper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we'll rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 and either build them or fix them depending on how they rank. Now today we finish up our talks on the Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer. This is going to be a lot of fun as we have come up with a really interesting and awesome way to rework this, and I am really looking forward to presenting it to you today. Before we jump into it though, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure to share the video with your friends, and of course, click the bell so you're notified when new videos are uploaded. Also, the best way to support this channel is by becoming a member down below. Today, of course, we're doing a subclass fix because it did not quite make that cut last time, and so of course that's up in the icon above if you want my reasons as to why I did not quite give it a good ranking there. But essentially I do put up write-ups for all of my build guides and all of my subclass fixes that are available to my members at the very lowest tier. That is the absolute best way to support my channel. It really shows that you really support what I do, that you really want me making this content, and so I really appreciate all of my members. Of course, there are higher tiers as well. At the silver tier, you of course are going to get special shout outs, you're going to get videos early, a lot of fun stuff like that. And then the gold tier is evolving as we speak. There are a lot of things in the works in the background that I'm working on, and I'm excited to hopefully be able to present it to you sometime soon once I iron out some of the kinks. But of course, all of you who are watching today, I really appreciate it. Let's dive right in. So what was wrong with the subclass? Like I said, I went into it a lot more back on Wednesday, but essentially there was just a lot that's archaic about it. It's dialed back a lot. It's very much PHB, and it just needs a little bit of a boost. It needs a little modernization. I honestly don't know why they didn't redo this when the Fizzbands book came out. I don't know. I feel like that would have been the time to rework it and redo something that was a little underwhelming, but oh well, what are you going to do? I'm not Wizards of the Coast. I'm not the one making those decisions, but yeah, missed opportunity. What are you going to do? But so today, we're going to do it for him. And I think that we have got a really cool way to rework this, a really fun way to bring it up to modern standards, to make this a 10 out of 10. And we're going to do that even without an expanded spell list. Hopefully. We'll see. Let's jump in. Like always with these, of course, there's not going to really be any editing. It's just going to be me talking. Of course, if you want something to go along with this, something to look at, something to follow along with, that is where the memberships come in. So yeah, I'm going to be using my script a lot because there's a lot that I've put into this. It's a fun one. So of course, questions will be addressed in the comment section, but the best way to follow along will be by becoming a member. So Level 1, what do we get? We're going to start off, of course, with Dragon Ancestor like before. However, this feature is going to be very different, at least in some ways. It's going to be the same in certain ways. It's going to be different in other ways. Basically, we're going to be borrowing a lot of things from the new Dragonborn race in order to make this a lot more appealing at level 1, right? So we're going to split each of these into chromatic, metallic, and yes, we are going to include gem dragons in here as well because they're here, right? That is a playable option now. We might as well say it's here. Let's recognize it, right? So let's use that. We've got all of them here, and you can choose any of them that you want. So right off the bat at level 1, you're going to gain resistance to whatever damage type is associated with the dragon type that you chose. Again, back on Wednesday, we talked about it's level 6, and you have to spend a sorcery point to do that for an hour. No, thank you. It comes for free all the time. The fact that I would have to spend a sorcery point is ridiculous. No. Of course, we still gain the ability to read, speak, write, all that Draconic, and of course we still get the bonus to charisma checks whenever we interact with dragons. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't think that that's game breaking. Like I said, it's probably hardly going to come up unless you're playing Tyranny of Dragons or some other very dragon heavy type of thing. So on top of all of that, whenever you do choose whichever one you are going to be associated with, you will get an additional feature that differs based on which one you chose. So if you're going to be a chromatic dragon, which is black, blue, green, red, and white, we get the chromatic warding feature. So as an action for 1 minute, we can become immune to the damage type that is associated with our ancestor. pretty cool there, nothing too crazy. You get it once for free, and you can spend a sorcery point if you want to do it again. I've kind of done that a lot through this subclass, is you get to do something for free once, and then if you want to spend sorcery points, you have a cost to it, but you always get one for free, and I think that that's really good. This is the one that's going to be your more beginner friendly. It's going to be a little bit more the low cost as well, but again, this could be super helpful, right? If you're facing a red dragon and you are a red dragon, or even if you're facing a gold dragon, which is also deals with fire, and you're a red dragon, you just pop this right before the fight goes up and you're good for a minute, right? And honestly, that's worth it. That's 10 rounds. As long as you stay in the back and aren't taking a claw attack, you're chilling. And so yeah, this is great. This is definitely worth it. For metallic dragons, of course, this is brass, bronze, copper, gold, and silver, associated with the same types, except for green is poison, copper is acid, but all the other ones are in common there. And so I took kind of the repulsive breath kind of thing that the original one gets, and we've made it a repulsive roar. So any creature that is within 10 feet of us must make a strength saving throw or be pushed back 15 feet and knocked prone. If you want to do this again, you can spend 2 sorcery points to do it again. I think that's worth it. I think that that's a really cool thing, a get off me feature. I mean, every sorcerer wants a get off me feature, and so this is it. If you get ganged up on by whatever, a bunch of goons or whatever it happens to be, and you need a free disengage, that is your way out. And you can of course knock them prone, and so now they are susceptible to attacks by your barbarian, your fighter, whoever is there in melee right after that. And then the gems, of course. We have a no cost feature here with the free telepathy within 30 feet of us, same thing as what we had before, but of course these are the amethyst, crystal, emerald, sapphire, and topaz, associated with force, radiant, psychic, thunder, and necrotic damage. Now here's the thing, being associated with force damage is interesting. It sounds awesome on paper right now, but the thing is, there isn't a lot of things that are coming in towards you that are dealing force damage outside of the stray magic missile that an enemy spellcaster might be casting against you. Besides that, you're really not going to see force damage coming in all that much. So to me, I don't think Amethyst is all that great. A lot of these really aren't that amazing just because of where they stand now. And so you're going to see kind of an interesting mechanic here in how this works, is that once we get to later levels, the gems will start to take off a little bit more, but at the beginning, the gems really aren't as good. And so that's kind of a balancing act that you would have to really look at as far as how long am I going to be in this campaign? If I'm just going to be in this for 4 or 5 levels, gems probably not going to be my choice. If I'm just going to be in this for a little while, no. I probably should go somewhere else, even though it's cool stuff, even though it's nice. I don't think so. So yeah, that's definitely a big decision, and it makes all of the options, I think, just a little bit better in a lot of ways. Again, Draconic Resilience is going to come online here as well. I don't think there's any reason to change that. We get a new AC calculation, we get extra health. I think that's fine. I think leave it alone as it is. So now we're at level 6, and we have bumped Dragon Wings from 14 back to 6, and yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't see why we don't do this. Yeah, I've limited it back to only a minute, but that matches exactly with the Twilight Cleric. And if you ask me, the Twilight Cleric is still beyond where this is at this level, but still, I think that having concentration free flight this early is honestly what this needs in order to compete with a lot of other stuff. Yeah, you could take the fly spell and that kind of thing, but honestly, having this without concentration, without any other things with it, is awesome. And as a 6th level feature, I think it makes this really, really attractive. So that is what we have done with that. So that means that now the 14th level feature is wide open, and now we are going to get what I am calling Draconic Transmutation. When you cast a spell of 1st level or higher that is of the damage type associated with a different ancestry of dragon than yours, you may transmute that spell to deal damage of the type associated with the ancestry that you have chosen. Additionally, when you gain this feature, if you already have the transmuted spell meta magic option, you may replace it with another available to you. This essentially gives you free transmuted spell anytime you want on any spell that is associated with any of the dragons, again, including gem dragons. So that really opens up our options there, and it doesn't cost you anything. This takes away that tax. Yes, it's really late, and you've probably been using Transmuted Spell up to this point in order to make this work, and that's fine. So now you don't need it anymore. It's redundant. You get to automatically swap it out. So that's just what I think is nice here. I think that's a lot better than getting Flight here. And yeah, it's late, but I mean, I don't think I can really justify doing something like this earlier. I think this is really where it needs to be, just because there's a huge gap between 6 and 14. So that is where that is. And finally, level 18, we are going to go from one of the worst, absolute worst capstone features to what I think is a really fun one. Is it the best one out there? Probably not, but it's fun. You're gonna turn into a dragon, because why not? We're gonna turn into a dragon with restrictions, kind of. So basically, as an action, we can choose to summon the full power of our ancestors. The blood is flowing strong within us, and we can kind of get a glimpse of that power. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to gain 100 temporary hit points. We are going to grow to size huge. If we were wearing armor, it's going to be absorbed into our skin. It's not going to be a factor anymore, and our AC is going to be 13 plus Dex plus Constitution. I think that's fair. That could get you up to a 23 AC, and you know what? It's level 18. Why not, right? You now have your walking speed doubled, which is great, and your dragon wings are automatically there, so you already have your flying speed, which is based off of that. You can now still cast spells. You have your verbal and somatic components ignored, as well as any material components that don't cost you anything. And any spells that you cast that deal damage of the same type as your ancestry will deal additional damage equal to twice your charisma modifier. So yeah, and then we also get a breath weapon, which is just exactly the same as what the normal Dragonborn would get. It's just automatically at that 17th level amount of damage at 4d10 of the type that is associated with you. So yeah, the transformation is going to last for an hour, or until you run out of those temporary hit points or replace those temporary hit points with something else, at which point you revert back to original form. Think of something kind of like wild shape, essentially, is what we're talking about here. So yes, that is a severe limiter on this, and I fully recognize that. That's why I went kind of hard on the features and allowing you to do all that stuff, because 100 hit points goes pretty fast, honestly. I'm on the fence as to whether or not I think we should have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. I don't know. I'm on the fence on that. I'd love to know your thoughts down below on whether or not you think that is fair or not. And then basically, once one of those happens, you revert back and you cannot do it again until you finish a long rest, or if you want to spend 7 sorcery points, which I think honestly is fair. I think it's expensive, but I think it's fair because of all the things that you get, and it makes you even bulkier, and I think it's just fun. We can turn into a dragon. Who doesn't want to do that? I think it's awesome. I think it's fun. So that is our fix for today. Let me know what you think down below. Did I go too far? Is this still trash? Is this worse than before? Let me know. I would love to know your thoughts down below. Tomorrow, we are going to be putting up our final week of the LTM Pokemon Draft League. And so it's a little bittersweet to be ending that awesome league. But we also, of course, had our awesome live stream this past Wednesday night where we talked about Spring Fling. And of course, next week, we will have our draft analysis for Spring Fling. So we're jumping out of one and going right into the next one. So I am really pumped. Until next time, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We will see you later. Bye-bye.